There are men who walk through the world as if they were just a detail of the environment. They walk the streets and no one notices. They sit at a table and nothing changes. They speak, but the sound doesn't seem to reach anyone. These men exist, but they don't happen. They are present, but not perceived. They have a body, but no density. They breathe, but have no axis. It's as if they occupy a physical space, but don't occupy any emotional, psychological, or energetic space. And when a man realizes this, when he realizes he has no weight, a silent pain is born inside him. This pain is not fussiness, it's not neediness, it's not fragility, it's instinct. Because a man doesn't need to be the strongest or the smartest or the most dominant, but he needs to feel that his presence alters something, even if it's just his own posture. He needs to feel that the air recognizes his arrival, that his silence speaks, that his energy has form, that his body has roots, that his expression has depth, that his spirit has weight. When this doesn't happen, when he enters a room and absolutely nothing adjusts, nothing changes, nothing reacts, he realizes something devastating. I am here, but I am not being felt. And this is one of the hardest blows a man can experience, the blow of energetic irrelevance. And the cruelest part, this feeling is much more common than it seems. Men all over the world experience this every day. Men who speak and are not heard. Men who try to be funny, but no one really laughs. Men who try to participate, but no one takes them seriously. Men who try to show confidence, but something in their energy betrays anxiety. Men who strive to appear confident, but inside there is a boy asking for approval. And this cycle is exhausting. The more they try to be perceived, the less they are. The more they try to appear strong, the more fragile they become. The more they try to be noticed, the more invisible they become. But there is another type of man, the opposite of this. The man who enters a place and the air changes. The conversation slows down. People adjust their posture without realizing it. The environment reorganizes itself as if instinctively it recognizes a denser energy. Not out of fear, not out of submission, but out of silent respect. This man doesn't speak loudly. He doesn't need to. He doesn't pose. He doesn't need to. He doesn't try to impress. He doesn't need to. He simply exists. And by existing, he reorganizes everything around him. His energy has weight. His silence has form. His body is inhabited. His gaze is firm. His rhythm is different, slower, more conscious, more whole. And Marcus Aurelius said, "The wise man does not seek to impress. He seeks to be whole." And that's exactly what you're going to learn today. That masculine presence is not born from appearance. It is born from internal integrity, from silent strength, from coherence, from calm, from axis, from mastery of one's own body and one's own mind. In this video, you will understand the 7 levels of masculine presence. You will see the complete path, from the invisible man to the perceived man, from the anxious man to the whole man, from the man who dissolves to the man who weighs, from the boy who seeks approval to the man who commands without saying a word. And if you stay until the end, you will learn how to build this presence in practice, in the body, in the mind, and in the energy, with real, applicable daily gestures. Before we continue, do something simple. Subscribe to the channel if you are ready to mature as a man, for real, not in appearance. And in the comments, tell me your city and your age. This helps me understand who is walking with me on this journey of masculine strength and powerful silence. Now take a deep breath, straighten your body and feel the ground, because presence starts exactly like this, inside. Level 1, the man without posture. Every man starts small, not in size, but in axis. Level 1 is the phase of dissolution, of the man who does not occupy his own body, who does not uphold his own word, who does not trust his own energy. He exists, but does not establish himself. He always walks a little faster than he should, speaks a little louder than he feels, laughs a little more than he would like, bends a little more than he realizes. Each gesture communicates a silent phrase. Don't look at me too much. Don't analyze me too much. Don't confront me. This man lives trying to mold himself to the environment like water in any container. If he is among expansive people, he tries to be expansive. If he is among quiet people, he tries to be invisible. If he is in a group, he tries to please everyone. If he is alone, he tries not to attract attention. He is never exactly himself. He is always a reflection of what he imagines others want to see. And this is exhausting. It's like carrying the weight of 100 masks, and none of them being your own face. The body betrays what the mind tries to hide. Curved shoulders, closed chest, short breath, retracted neck, eyes that flee, restless hands, compressed posture, fragmented energy. These signs create a weak presence, and even if this man tries to compensate with more talk, more laughter, more movement, more jokes, nothing works. Because presence is not born from the surface, it is born from the root. People perceive this immediately, even without understanding why. They feel that that man is too light, too insecure, too anxious, too unstable. They feel that he doesn't sustain himself. They feel that something is missing, and it is. Internal axis is missing. He tries to be noticed by speaking loudly, but no one respects him. He tries to be funny but seems forced. He tries to appear confident but exudes restlessness. He tries to be accepted but transmits neediness. He tries to prove strength but reveals fear, and the pain deepens. He realizes that his opinion rarely weighs in a conversation. He realizes that other people naturally take the lead while he tries to keep up with the pace. He realizes that women treat him as someone nice, but not as someone strong. He realizes that other men see him as a good person, but not as a reference. He realizes that, in any environment, he is always the one who adapts, never the one who establishes. This pain is necessary. It is what awakens. It is what illuminates what was extinguished. It is what says there is something in you that needs to be born. And from here, the practical change begins, the first real transformation in masculine energy. Because to get out of invisibility, the man needs to admit, with brutal honesty, I have been living smaller than I am. I have been apologizing for existing. I am afraid to take up space. This admission is the first brick, and it's just the beginning. Level 2. The man who observes himself, level 2, is the first real awakening. It is the moment when the man begins to see that the root of the problem is not in the world, it is in his own gestures. It is the instant when something inside him lights a small light and he begins to perceive himself with brutal honesty. And this honesty, despite being uncomfortable, is what creates the foundation for all masculine strength. The man begins to notice each micro-behavior that previously went unnoticed. He realizes that he speaks quickly when he is trying to please. He realizes that he laughs nervously when he feels analyzed. He realizes that he moves his hands too much when he is without direction. He realizes that he averts his gaze when he feels that he will not sustain eye contact. He realizes that he bends over when someone more confident enters the room. Each of these perceptions, which were previously invisible, now gains name, form, and meaning. And this hurts. It is a lucid pain. It's as if he were finally seeing what had always been there, and he can no longer pretend he didn't see it. From this moment on, the body ceases to be automatic and becomes an instrument. It is here that what the Stoics called inhabiting oneself is born. It is when the man awakens to body awareness, the only force that sustains any true presence. He realizes that his posture reflects his mind, that his breathing reflects his emotional state, that his gaze reflects his axis, that his rhythm reflects his courage, that his gestures reflect his center, or the lack of it. And then he begins to transform himself, not by miracle, not by cheap motivation, but by attention. The man corrects the body, and the mind corrects the spirit. He corrects his breathing, and the energy corrects the environment. He corrects his gaze, and his posture adjusts on its own. He begins to walk with more presence, even without knowing exactly how. He begins to occupy the space with more firmness, even if he is still insecure. He begins to speak less, but with more intention. He begins to listen more, understanding that listening is part of presence. He realizes that when he slows down his speech, his energy aligns. When he raises his chin, his mind stabilizes. When he releases his shoulders, his anxiety decreases. When he holds the silence, the environment feels him. When he breathes correctly, insecurity loses strength. And it is like this, almost imperceptibly, that presence is born. Small transforming exercise of this level. In any public environment, the man does three things: straightens his spine as if pulled by an invisible thread, breathes deeply through his nose, filling his chest to the limit, looks at the environment without haste, as if nothing in it is a threat. This reorganizes the energy, this expands the presence, this awakens something that was dormant, because the conscious body generates the conscious mind. And the conscious mind generates structured energy, and structured energy generates respect. No one needs to know that he is training something, but everyone begins to feel it. This level is the watershed of the journey. After observing himself, the man never returns to the previous state, because now he sees, and whoever sees can no longer pretend to be blind. From here, he is ready to enter the most visible level of masculine transformation, the calm that weighs. Level 3, the calm man. Here the world begins to perceive the man, not because he does more, but because he does less. Level 3 is the stage in which the man discovers the strength that exists in what he has always been afraid of: silence. The calm man is not apathetic. He is not slow, he is not cold, he is present, he is whole, he is the master of his own rhythm. He stops running after the environment. It is the environment that begins to move at his pace. This man understands that reacting quickly is not intelligence, it is anxiety. He understands that talking too much is not communication, it is self-defense. He understands that occupying space with noise does not generate respect. It only tires. Calm is magnetic because it is rare. And it is rare because it requires internal mastery. And internal mastery is the essence of masculine presence. Imagine someone trying to provoke him, where before he would respond with an uncomfortable joke, now he just breathes. Where before he would justify himself, now he only observes. Where before he would rush to fill the silence, now he holds the silence until the other loses his rhythm. This inversion changes everything, because the calm man inevitably becomes the reference point of the environment. He is the fixed point. He is the rock, while everyone else is water. It is in him that the environment anchors itself, and this has nothing to do with arrogance. It has to do with density, with depth, with axis. People begin to listen to him more, even if he speaks less. They begin to respect him more, even if he imposes himself less. They begin to consult him more, even if he doesn't ask for it. They begin to adjust their own posture near him, even if they don't realize it. Because presence is this, a silent force that organizes everything around it. The calm man also learns the art of the pause, one of the most transforming practices of masculine presence. The pause is the mother of clarity. The pause is the filter of the ego. The pause is the cradle of strength. The pause is what separates the reactive boy from the sovereign man. If someone pressures him, he pauses. If someone challenges him, he pauses. If someone interrupts him, he pauses. If someone analyzes him, he pauses. It is in this pause that respect resides. Because the whole world bows to the calm of a man who does not rush to prove anything. Essential practice of this level: before any answer, breathe. Before any gesture, observe, before any action, feel. This small ritual creates a barrier between impulse and attitude, and this barrier is exactly what differentiates fragile men from strong men. Calm is the beginning of magnetism, because magnetism is organized force, and organized force is born from serenity, not tension. Now that the man has learned not to react, he is ready to learn to direct, and that's what awaits him in the next level. Level 4, the directed man. Level 4 is the moment when masculine presence ceases to be just internal and begins to radiate direction. Here, the man is no longer just someone who breathes deeply, observes, corrects his posture, and controls his own energy. Now, he orients himself towards a larger axis, towards a purpose that organizes all his actions. The man who reaches level 4 no longer acts on impulses. He doesn't get involved in everything. He doesn't waste energy. He doesn't get lost in empty conversations. He doesn't get contaminated by the haste of others. He knows exactly what he's building, and everything in him reflects that. This man understands that presence without purpose becomes silent arrogance. He understands that calm without direction becomes apathy. He understands that strength without guidance becomes emotional brutality. He understands that posture without intention becomes a pose, and that's exactly what differentiates him. He is no longer in reaction to the world. He is in construction before it. He speaks little, but when he speaks, his words have weight because they come from somewhere solid. He acts little, but when he acts, his gestures have direction because they are born from clarity. He avoids unnecessary discussion, but when he enters it, his posture does not seek to win. It seeks to clarify. The directed man does not try to impress. He doesn't perform strength. He carries strength. He doesn't try to demonstrate superiority. He demonstrates internal sovereignty. His energy is focused, clear, sharp, linear, and this energy changes the environment because it transmits something rare today: coherence. Coherence is magnetic, coherence is respected, coherence is felt. Coherence is stronger than a scream, than an emotional explosion, than superficial bravery. This man has become someone who inspires confidence, not by the way he speaks, but by the way he lives. People begin to look for him to ask for his opinion because they perceive structure in him. They begin to listen to him more attentively because his energy is not dispersed. They begin to respect him effortlessly because each of his gestures has a purpose. And all this happens even when he doesn't realize it, because direction generates stability. Stability generates security, and security generates respect. Level 4 is the moment when the man ceases to be just someone present and becomes someone who guides, even without wanting to lead. This natural, silent, discreet leadership is the essence of stoic masculine presence, and it is this leadership that opens the way to level 5. Because to be rooted, you must first know where you are growing. Level 5, the rooted man. At level 5, something profound happens. The man ceases to be moved by the world. Nothing external can drag him, inflate him, unbalance him, or manipulate him anymore. This is the stage in which masculine presence reaches real density, the one that others feel in the air. The rooted man possesses a silent strength that does not need to be displayed. He carries a calm so deep that when he enters a tense environment, the tension reorganizes itself. He transmits stability just by existing, and this stability does not come from the ego, it comes from integrity. He doesn't respond too quickly. He doesn't rush to prove anything. He doesn't chase after approval. He doesn't tremble when he is observed. He doesn't bend over when someone tries to intimidate him. He doesn't change what he believes to please. He doesn't allow external emotions to enter and destroy his axis. His strength is not coarse, it is deep. It is not noisy, it is anchored. It is not reactive, it is conscious. He has learned that his criticisms are opinions, not decrees. Rejection is disinterest, not a sentence. Compliments are kindness, not identity. Pressure is a test, not a threat. The rooted man responds to the world with the maturity of someone who knows who he is. He doesn't change because of situations. It is the situation that changes around him. He doesn't negotiate his own axis. It is the axis that defines his movements. At the level of the root, an insult does not enter. A provocation does not penetrate. An opinion does not tear him from the ground. Emotional blackmail does not displace him. A judgmental look does not make him tremble. He has become a tree that resists the wind because it grew downwards before growing upwards. A tree that no one knocks down with words. A tree that sustains its own existence. Deep down, all men want to reach this level, but few have the courage to deepen their roots in silence, discipline, and self-confrontation. This is the man who inspires respect without raising his voice. It is the man who attracts without trying. It is the man who leads without asking. It is the man who, even standing still, weighs more than many who shout. And it is precisely when the man becomes rooted that he is ready for the peak of masculine presence. The man who radiates. Level 6. The man who radiates level 6 is the peak. It is the moment when all the silent construction, posture, observation, calm, direction and roots transforms into something greater, radiation. This level cannot be faked, rehearsed, trained in the mirror, or obtained by ready-made phrases. It is a consequence, it is a result, it is maturity overflowing. The man who radiates does not need to be seen to be perceived. Perception happens before the gaze. It is as if his energy precedes his arrival, as if the air recognizes who he is before the door opens. This man does not attract attention, he receives it. Not because he wants to, but because it has become inevitable. His energy is organized, and organized energy reorganizes the environment. He enters, and the conversations slow down. He sits down, and the atmosphere changes. He speaks, and no one interrupts. He falls silent, and the silence does not oppress, it teaches. Some people confuse this level with charisma, but it is not charisma. Charisma is shine, radiation is gravity, charisma enchants, gravity attracts, gravity holds, gravity stabilizes. This man doesn't need many gestures. His gaze carries firmness, but not aggression. His posture transmits security, but not arrogance. His silence weighs, but does not suffocate. His calm inspires, does not intimidate. He has become someone who does not compete because he knows his own value, does not chase after because he understands his own time, does not force anything because what is his approach is naturally, does not hide because he is not afraid to be seen, does not show off because he does not need an audience. People can't explain it, they can't name it, they can't translate it, but they know that there is something in him. This something is internal order. It is consolidated emotional maturity. It is aligned purpose. It is incorporated calm. It is lived axis. It is incarnate integrity. This is the level of the man who is not only present, he has become presence. And it is when the man gets here that the world around him responds as it never has before, not because he changed the world, but because he finally changed himself. And when a man organizes himself from within, everything around him organizes itself too. This is the vertex of the masculine journey. But there is still one last step. Not only carry presence, but command it in silence. Now that you have walked through all the levels, look at the complete trajectory calmly, as someone who observes a map after crossing the territory. You left invisibility, the man who dissolves into the environment, and advanced to radiation, the stage in which your silent energy reorganizes the world around you. You have gone through 6 profound transformations, each shaping a layer of your presence. First, you saw the man without posture, the one who tries to fit into any space and therefore never occupies any space. Then you discovered the man who observes himself, who perceives his own bodily and emotional vices and learns to correct himself. Next, you found the calm man, who understands that not reacting is strength and that silence is mastery. Soon after, the directed man, who transforms his energy into purpose and his presence into clarity. Then came the rooted man, unshakable, impossible to manipulate, impossible to displace. And finally, the man who radiates, whose simple arrival changes the environment, even when no word is said. Together, these levels form the backbone of mature masculine presence. The presence that cannot be bought, cannot be faked, cannot be simulated. It can only be built. And here is the most important point. Presence is not about being noticed. Presence is about being felt. The man who really weighs in the world is the one who has become whole, whole in body, whole in mind, whole in spirit, whole in choices, whole in silence. When the world silences around you, it is not intimidation, it is recognition. It is the sign that your spirit has begun to speak where your mouth does not need to say anything. And if this video touched something inside you, if you felt that this journey describes exactly what you want to become, then keep walking with me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Here, each video is a step towards the firm, calm, lucid, and whole man you are building. And in the comments, write presence, not as a loose word, but as the silent commitment of the man you have decided to become from today.